Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JPeeps.
This is the Bug.
This is Jay Cee.
This is Flash. This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you're listening to
You're listening to
the Run and Gun Podcast.
So what's going on, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Run and Gun Podcast. I'm JPeeps.
I'm Jay Cee.
And today, let's start off with it. First thing out of the gate, I'm sure you already saw it. FAMU is now the 11th member of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, the SWAC. FAMU, the FAMU Board of Trustees, they voted to leave the MEAC, and the SWAC officials voted unanimously to accept FAMU.
I mean, it worked out for their budget, so I understand it. More money.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, too, was, and I think you can agree with this, where would you rather play a football game at? Would you rather play in Delaware in November, or would you rather go play, say, in Texas in November?
I mean, Texas, but it's just the strength of opponents is way better too, which is going to help FAMU in the long run. Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, look, I've been the one to say it for the longest time. You know, I always felt the SWAC was the weaker conference, and I mean, it's kind of obvious on social media because more people talk about the bands than even the actual game being played. But I'll say this, you know, FAMU coming into the SWAC is going to increase the competition for the rest of the conference, because people are going to. Because I'm going to tell you now, FAMU's going to probably come in the conference and take everybody by surprise in 2021, probably because of the way that the tempo works, and then Florida is just different from the other states, in my opinion, and it's going to take a while for people to just catch up. If you ask me. So it's gonna up the ante and make everybody play harder and make coaches do a better job of recruiting than they already are doing. And then of course the whole division realignment thing. Does Alcorn stay in the East? Does Alcorn go to the West? And then there's a rumor of who's going to be the 12th member eventually. The SWAC commissioner's already said he hasn't had any conversations with a team like Bethune-Cookman or Tennessee State. So I mean we'll see what happens there.
I was about to say Bethune-Cookman sounds like a really good one, because then you get to keep the Classic, which is a huge moneymaker and could be a huge moneymaker for the conference.
Exactly. See, that's the thing I've been saying. A lot of people are saying, Bethune-Cookman won't come. Bethune-Cookman will probably end up dropping down a division. But I was going to say Bethune-Cookman, I don't think Bethune-Cookman would drop down a division. If you ask me. Because Bethune is
competitive.
Exactly, and I think that they would be able to hold their own against a lot of these SWAC schools. They would. The only one that I think the jury's out on still is how would they fare against Alcorn? Because last time they played Alcorn, it was kind of getting away from them, but the game was canceled due to lightning and continuous lightning in the area, so they didn't get to finish the game. But, I mean, if you ask me, I mean, Bethune has the band that'll be able to compete just like FAMU does. And Bethune's got a team that'll compete just like FAMU does. So it's, again, those two right there are going to be fighting for the East eventually, if you get them both in there at the same time. But the other thing, too, is, the MEAC crown this year, I'm telling you now, it's going to be interesting, because now you got A&T who's leaving. This is their last year in the MEAC, and then you got FAMU who's leaving. It's their last year in the MEAC.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I've always seen the MEAC as a pretty weak conference.
But you said you've seen it as a weak conference?
Yeah.
Understandable. My thing is this. You realize that, now, I don't know what they're going to do, They've lost 5 teams now. That conference has lost 5 teams. Because now you lost to start out Winston-Salem State. And then you lost Savannah State. Oh, no. You lost Winston-Salem State. Then you lost Hampton. Then you lost Savannah State. Now you're losing A&T. And now you're losing FAMU.
I mean,
your makers are walking out the door this year.
It'll probably fold, and then they'll probably reorganize.
Yeah. Because the thing now with that is, what's going to happen to the 2 basketball schools? Like, you got Maryland Eastern Shore and you got Coppin State, who do not field a football team at all.
Yeah, I think it's going to fold, and then they'll probably reform another one.
Yeah.
Or they might be independents.
Yeah. I feel that. But the good thing, too, is AD Courtney Gaucher said that for the time being, the Florida Classic is not going to go anywhere. He said that game is going to stay. Hopefully, the way I see it, I'd like to see the SWAC kind of, the SWAC and the MIA kind of maneuver to where, that game is played at the end of the season like it currently is now, but do it the same way, Florida and Florida State do their game and the way, Georgia and Georgia Tech do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the other thing, too, is I meant to ask you, who are you most excited to see FAMU match up with in the SWAC? Because, the interlock game is going to be FAMU and Southern. But
I was about to say Southern would be a good one.
Yeah. Honestly, you asked me, I'm ready. I want to see them. I've been dying to see it for years. I want to see FAMU and Grambling get together. That's just my take. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I love to see HBCU games because you have the band and everything. The energy's different. I wish that more HBCUs weren't. What's the classification?
You got some that are NAIA, some are D2. Yeah, some are D2.
I forget what the secondary classification for Division 1 is.
Oh, FCS.
FCS. Yeah.
All these schools are FCS. Yeah. I agree with you. But the good thing that the SWAC commissioner did say is he said that the plan is to eventually, as a whole collective effort, when everybody's ready, make the jump with everybody and make it just one big HBCU conference on that level.
I can get down with that.
I could too. I was talking to a source at the University of Texas that I brought this up to, and they were like, "Man, you're crazy. They better not try to play us." And I was just like, I think the point of them making a jump as a conference is so that way they don't have to play you. Because I think right now what they would want to do is, they want to go after the bottom feeders of the group of 5, so like take down and play Georgia Southern, Central Michigan, Florida Atlantic, Florida International.
Yeah, the Sun Belt Conference and such. Yeah.
Exactly. And plus the way this is going to look, those are going to be the teams you're going to get probably grouped up against in bowl games anyway. So I have nothing against it.
Because think about it. For the last, how long they've been in FCS, they're not going to be competitive against a Power 5 FBS team straight off the bat.
Exactly. And if you do that, you're gonna lick your wounds for a little while before you actually come up and rise up.
Exactly. So, that's why it's a good idea that they take the whole group, because if you jump up, you're gonna end up like I don't know what, Idaho. Didn't Idaho do that?
Yeah, Idaho made the jump. I remember vividly because they were like D1 in 2013. Yeah, they never won a single game. I think they ended up going back down because I remember they ended up going to Tallahassee to play Florida State and they got beat like 80-14.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, look, I think this is good this is good. You're going as a conference, and this is something that we've never seen before that's been done. So it'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch. Plus, I think the other thing too is with that, you're going to attract a lot of attention from recruits as a collective conference, because now you're an HBCU, you're a Division 1A or FBS opponent or FBS school, and then it's just the atmosphere it's different from that of the SEC.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
And then FBS means that you're more serious. You're going to be in those bowl games. You're going to get more of that spotlight comparatively.
Exactly. And that's the other thing that the AD brought up. Or not the AD. That's the other thing that the SWAC commissioner brought up. He said, we are the only conference in the FCS that basically plays a conference championship in order to get to a bowl game. So we're doing the same thing that many of these FBS schools are doing. And I thought about it. I was like, hey, he's got a point.
Exactly. Might as well get up there, do what you do, get the spotlight, make the money, and put your teams in a greater position to win.
Exactly. And I love this too. I love this move now too, because now you're going to see the March 100 make more of those road trips now, whereas the March 100 doesn't really go on the road to travel. They do, but they don't do it as heavily.
Well, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is. And with these close games, like, being able to go to Montgomery to go play Alabama State, or going to Baton Rouge, or going to the Hole, as they call it, for Grambling, or going to Huntsville to play Alabama A&M, the March 100 can make those trips.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But I got to ask you now. So since this is their last year in the MEAC, how do you like FAMU's chances of winning the conference?
I still think it's the same. I still think they have a chance to win the MEAC and everything before they leave.
Yeah. I feel you.
I don't think anything really changes, per se, from original expectations.
Yeah, you're right. How does the March 100 impact the SWAC?
Well, it continues to add to that prestige. Because, like I said, if you go to the FBS, right, it's immediately understood that you're not going to be fully competitive.
Yeah.
Right? But it does give you another, what's the word I'm looking for, level to stand up towards the prestige of schools that have been in the FBS and have been winning.
Yeah, you're right. And the other thing I got to point out too is, the trash talk was going back and forth, a lot of March 100 folks. And I mean, you're a band expert. You're more of a musical instrument expert than I am. So you could attest to it. They're making fun of the way Southern put their instruments on the ground and started dancing, which was like, I guess it's the cardinal rule in black college football. You don't do that.
That's a cardinal rule everywhere.
Right. Oh, see, I didn't know that. And then the other thing too is, Alcorn in the video, I think you saw with the gospel music, talking about they stepped out.
I stepped out. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God. You just keep seeing them step out of line.
I stepped out. Somebody said, this is your favorite HBCU band, huh? I stepped out. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my gosh. Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, look, I'm just gonna say it myself. I didn't think much of Alcorn. I always thought, the SWAC was just really the human jukebox and Grambling, and then Jackson State. I really paid no attention to Alcorn. I really did not. But I'm after seeing that, say again?
Yeah, I didn't either. I'm gonna be honest.
Exactly. See, but after seeing that, I see why I never paid attention to them. I see why. But let's transition to
there's only like 3 bands I actually pay attention to.
I feel that. I feel
which
that.
is Bethune-Cookman, FAM, and Southern. Like, because by strength of opinion and strength of history, those are probably the best ones.
Agreed. I will agree with you. I would throw Grambling in there at number 4. Or actually, no, I would throw Grambling in there at number 5, Jackson State at number 4. But my number 1 is FAMU, and then FAMU, Bethune, and then number 3, I got to put Southern there. And then number 4, I got Grambling. Or no, number 4, I got Jackson State. Number 5, I got Grambling. That's my top 5. But again, like I said, I'm not a musical instrument type of guy. So I mean, don't come for me, you band heads. That's just my take.
I'm coming for you. Nah, each one. The only reason I don't try to, what's the term I'm looking for? Rate them comparatively,
Right.
other than like prestige and things like that, is because they each build their band differently.
That's true. That's very true.
Because you have FAMU with this generally well-rounded group, right? Very large. And then you have Southern, who uses a lot of brass.
Yes. That's true. That's been the word I've been looking for like a year or two now. I didn't know how to really break it down.
Yeah, brass. They have a large trumpet and horn section.
Right. Okay, there we go. See, now I know the word. Thank you. But,
after providing that music knowledge.
See, now people know that we're a little bit more than a sports page. We are very well-rounded. We know we are health professionals, musical enthusiasts, and we know the law very well.
Once somebody called me a genius. No.
Oh man, that's funny. But let's kind of shift gears here to NASCAR, and this just came out here recently. The Confederate flag is now going to be prohibited at all NASCAR events, and in wake of that, this racer named Ray Cicerelli, whatever his name is, he didn't win any races. He said that he's leaving at the end of the season because of the Confederate flag ban, and because he said that he doesn't like the path that NASCAR is headed down.
Why? More inclusive towards other people?
Look, my thing is I followed NASCAR for one season, I want to say back maybe like over 10 years ago. And
yeah, back when I was a kid, I used to want to be a NASCAR driver. And then,
exactly. Like it looked.
Then you see the Confederate flag, and like I'm like, hold up. It don't bother me that the demographic is generally white for NASCAR fans.
Yeah.
But it's just like the Confederate flag thing, and everybody seems kind of sort of super deeply entrenched in some sort of Southern thing. Like it just kind of turned me off, and I was like,
yeah,
I'll keep my drive on the road.
Yeah. See, that was my thing, because like, look, I played the video games. I think I got NASCAR 07 and I got NASCAR 08. Like I played the games and stuff. I enjoyed it, but it was just, that Confederate flag thing just kind of turned me off to it, because I just lost interest after 1 year. But now that I'm kind of seeing NASCAR do something like this, I could get back into it.
I feel like it's almost it's as much as it is I don't want to say political, a soul, a stance on, I guess, the soul of NASCAR. I don't know. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's a business move too, because I
true.
think they're also realizing that you can't just survive off one specific demographic.
That's true. No, because that's the other thing the NFL is realizing now. Finally, just one demographic is not going to continuously be able to support you and give you viewership every single week forever. You have to evolve where it's friendly to everybody. And I think NASCAR is finally realizing that, because there's people, trust me, there's people like you and me that have always wanted to get more interested in NASCAR. Because look, I've always been a big Jeff Gordon fan, but I'm upset he kind of retired now, but I understand that comes with time, and he's been racing longer than I actually had thought. But it's just people like us. We want to get more involved and like watch the races more. So, I mean, now I think that you're going to see that.
I mean, I know dudes who drive on tracks and they amaze it. But, the question comes up, hey, man, y'all ever going to think about doing NASCAR or something? And then the thought comes up. And then it's just like, nah, that's kind of racist, man.
Yeah.
I ain't really trying to get up in all that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know what? You're kind of right. Like,
Right. I know. And then also, did you see the Black Lives Matter car? Yeah, so NASCAR has a Black Lives Matters car that they just released, and I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to find right now which driver will be driving. Oh, Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace will be racing inside the Black Lives Matter car after the Confederate flag has been banned. So the number 43, number 43, Bubba Wallace.
That's smooth.
Yeah. Wait, did you look up the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's nice, ain't it?
Oh, that's smooth.
Yeah, I like it. It's because that used to be Richard Petty's old car. I mean, and you can see it too. Richard Petty Motorsports.
I mean, and I dig the grip on the hood, the black hand and the white hand grip it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's always that misinterpretation or conscious ignorance of that Black Lives Matter means that that Black lives are superior, and it's
right.
No, Black Lives Matter too, fool.
Right, and I'm trying to figure out, what does that say on the front of it? Does that say on like the hood underneath the fit clenched up? Does it say compassion, love, and understanding?
Yes.
See, that's nice. I like that.
That's nice. I can get down with that.
Exactly. I'm gonna be rooting for him. I think they said there's a race on Wednesday next week. I know there's a race coming up on Sunday on the 14th. I think that one's gonna be down in Homestead, but I'm gonna be watching.
I'm gonna be on that. I'm gonna pay attention now.
Exactly. I might have to go back to playing a video game now. But the next line of business here is also the NCAA and their plans to start the season on time. And boy, when I tell you what the plan is, you ain't gonna believe it. But a couple other things before I go to that. 87 Florida Gator players all tested for coronavirus, and then the results all came back negative. And then the same could be said for the 80 players at USF. USF tested 80 players. They all came back negative. Only one player tested positive at Florida State. So that's good as we transition to starting the season on time.
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen with everything that's going on. It's bound to happen. Exactly.
See, that's been the thing that I've been saying all the time. People are literally freaking out about it and stuff, talking about oh my gosh. And I'm like, look, we knew this was going to happen. You need to have a plan in place to properly handle it. And it seems as though most of these colleges have a plan in place to handle it.
Yeah. So if you want to hear that plan, there's a go back in our other podcast. We're not going to talk about the plan right now.
Yeah, exactly. The AAC commissioner has also come out and said, Mike Oresco, he said no need to delay the season if, and that's a strong if all the dominoes fall into place. He said he believes that all the schools in the AAC will be open for the fall, and he should have a good idea in June in order to decide on the games being played or if games are going to be played. That decision will be like decided by July. So honestly, next month is going to be a very big month.
Yep.
So far, after listening to what FAMU's AD has said, and then plus the other word coming out that homecoming looks more and more likely to happen, I feel better about the start of the season coming forward. So, the other thing too, before I get into these allegations, is the plan to start the season on time and what it consists of. So, are you ready to hear this?
Sure.
So the NCAA committee has aimed for a 6-week calendar to start the 2020 season on time. So what that 6-week period would entail of is basically fall camp. 6 weeks of fall camp, which includes weight training, conditioning, and film review.
Okay.
Week.
Because everybody technically should have been doing that already, but so yeah.
I think it was a little bit condensed in the past.
Well,
I know
understandable, but I think the thought was more based on people individually are probably doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? But in case they didn't have the facilities or the time or the ability to be able to do that, because some of these guys, they're not from like riches. They don't have their own private gym, and they were told to sequester themselves.
That's true. Yeah.
So you have to think about that. They need that time to get back in the gym. Right.
Yeah, because the preseason calendar, if it's approved, consists of this, and we already are currently 11 days into the first part, is June 1st through 25th, voluntary workouts start, which consist of, virtual non-physical activities and voluntary workouts. Most schools, I think, have their kids back on campus because a lot of guys realize, I got to get back to campus and I can still do my summer classes. July 13th onward, that's when the team workouts begin. July 24th, that's when the walkthroughs and team meetings begin. That's going to be 20 hours per week from 8 hours. And then August 7th onward is when preseason practice period begins. So, I mean, it's a good plan. I like it. Like I said, I think that we'll still get the season on time.
Move it on to them slowly, and allow time for developments to be made medically.
Yeah. The other things too is Oklahoma State's men's basketball program has been hit with a 1-year postseason ban, and it was pretty interesting to see how that developed. I think it was like the FBI or something got involved with it.
Really?
Yeah. Multiple Iowa players have spoken out about racism within the program.
I've seen this. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. A lot of people are saying, why are you all surprised? It's the state of Iowa, for goodness sakes. But my thing was, I was like, look, I always felt, Kurt Ferentz always ran a pretty even keel program, but
I mean, I every game that I watch for Iowa, I always root for Iowa. I'd be like, all right, cool. So let's get this, guys. What's up?
Exactly. But I mean, dang, they got like a strength coach, I believe, take a leave of absence periodically because he was saying stuff to kids. And multiple teams have spoken out about what's going on. Clemson's the most infamous one right now.
In the back of your head, we all knew.
To be honest, yeah, I agree with you.
We all knew. It's Clemson. My knee. Yeah. in the back of we knew.
Yeah. Because Dabo Swinney got called out for staying silent after a player was called the N-word during practice. No apology was given to the team, and the players were told to stay out of it and limit distractions. We knew it. We knew what was going on, low key.
I mean, didn't this come out before too?
Before all this happened, no.
I think there was some sort of article or something.
I remember a while back during Alabama's national championship when they beat Georgia, one of their players who had a run-in with a coach, he said he was transferring out because he was facing racial tension and stuff. Like, people were saying stuff about him on campus and stuff while he was going to class. So he said he was going to transfer out and go to Tennessee State.
I mean, it's understandable. It's not like I haven't heard anything. I mean, there was a coach at Florida who basically flipped a player.
Wait, whoa, when was this?
A year or two ago. I won't provide any information to protect the player's identity, but I do know personally of that.
Understandable. And then you also heard about what happened at Florida State. Marvin Wilson called out Mike Norvell, and Mike Norvell told him, he said, "You know what? Yeah, go ahead and do that. Take a stand and everything like that. Speak up for what's right. That's what you are here for. It's your platform.
Exactly.
Be heard." Mike Norvell and
don't listen to them when they say just get out there and run on the field. You're more than that. You're a person.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I loved what Marvin Wilson said in his video that was on Instagram. He was saying, we need to see more Black excellence going on. We need to see African American males and females be more than just athletes. We need to see them be, senators, representatives, more lawyers, more doctors, more teachers that are African American, more business owners. And I fully agree with him.
It's not just Black excellence, though, in my opinion. It's all excellence. You know what I mean?
Explain.
Okay. So let's say you have this Black excellence, right?
Yeah.
But nothing changes.
Okay.
Where do you go from there?
You got a point.
There has to be a standard for everybody. Which is very important also in the police thing, because people are talking about defunding the cops. Now, I get it. The cops get a lot of money.
Yeah, they do.
I'm down with cutting a little bit for community development and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not gentrifying, primarily African American places and kicking them out and stuff like that. We know that from Tampa and things like that.
Yep.
But it's also not just that. It's also just holding cops to a higher standard.
Yes.
Because you give them what's the word I'm looking for?
Just do? No.
Free reign.
Yeah. Right.
And it's not full free reign. Because if it was full free reign, dear Lord, I mean, God, who knows? But you give them free reign, and then you fortitude them with the stance of they are the law.
Correct.
Which is not good.
Correct.
So I feel like a higher standard needs to be held towards the people who are upholding the law.
Yes, I would agree with that.
But anyway, let me get off my pedestal. I I don't have a full planned out speech here, so I'll write one down and then I'll submit myself to leading the NAACP.
What? Okay. In the NFL, Roger Goodell issued a statement that the league is here to listen and says Black Lives Matter. The league still has yet to publicly apologize to Colin Kaepernick.
I feel like the league is lying.
To an extent, yeah, I'm with you. The other thing,
I mean, at least with NASCAR, right? NASCAR, they've never really said anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they've never said anything as an organization. They just allowed it to happen.
That's true.
Like the Confederate flag thing, they just allowed that to be.
Yes.
Because they probably felt that it wasn't harming anything.
Right.
And now they feel in the current climate that, you know what, this is wrong. The NFL has taken a hard stance in previous years.
Correct.
With the kneeling thing.
Right.
And now that the climate is changing, they're like, wait, let's just flip the script here and let's not lose one of our biggest demographics and one of our largest groups who plays in the NFL.
That is correct. And see, here's the thing about that also, and Spike Lee here about not too long ago, he said that Spike Lee came out and ripped Roger Goodell for not mentioning Colin Kaepernick in his BS apology that was part of the social justice statement.
Exactly.
Because that's my thing. I'm like, look, I'm waiting on y'all to apologize to Colin Kaepernick because Kaepernick literally told you what was going on and everything like that. He told you.
Yeah, some of the Colin Kaepernick thing is ego and politics too. Because I don't know if you've seen Stephen A. talk about it. And as we know, Stephen A. is an African-American man. He was talking about like the workout thing, right?
Yeah.
Like how they were going to give him a workout and then at the last minute he changed it and then all this other stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that is Colin Kaepernick too.
Exactly. And it kind of piggybacks off of to that, I will say it kind of piggybacks off of what Hendricks had said on the last podcast, where he was saying, Kaepernick did that to kind of, bring awareness and notoriety to that school.
I can somewhat feel that, but at the last minute, though.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That is the thing.
It's the last minute thing.
Yeah. You're right. Because my thing, honestly, I was saying before, I was like, look, someone needs to sign him. But at the same time, too, I don't think he wants to play anymore.
I don't think he does either.
Because it's just like what Hendricks was saying. Kaepernick has ascended to a higher power where, and a couple people will understand it. Some will, some may not. Where he doesn't want to, I don't want to say it how I want to say it, but I guess I might as well say it anyway. He doesn't want to shuck and jive for the man. He wants to kind of like, wait, say again?
To me, at some point, it kind of turned into a show.
Yeah.
Like a large, intricate show. And I don't know. It's not that I don't want any part of that, but it's not clear cut.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that the NFL isn't wrong. NFL was definitely wrong, but not saying that Colin Kaepernick was fully right with the way he handled some things.
That's true. That is true. But even also the Drew Brees had to issue an apology after saying it's disrespectful to kneel during the national anthem. It's disrespectful to the flag. And then he went on to kind of say, I had relatives that served in World War II that fought and died for the country and stuff, And after that, LeBron James and a lot of people, even Drew Brees' own teammates, went after him. Even Saints fans took to the streets during protests saying, F Drew Brees.
I would too, because that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. And coming from Go ahead.
I'm about to hit you with some history knowledge.
Oh.
If you really want to talk about World War II, right?
Yeah.
Now, tell me why Adolf Hitler, his own evil self, right, was talking about how America's army at the time was segregated.
Yes.
A segregated army fighting for freedom, huh?
Yeah. True.
Right?
Yep. Keep going.
And the thought is that America always fights for freedom, right?
Yeah.
With a segregated army, with an army that comes back and is called, am I allowed to say it on here?
Go ahead.
With an army that has come back home from serving and is called niggers and told to take off their uniform.
And then if they were seen in their uniform, they were beaten up.
Exactly. Come back home and got to fight another war.
Exactly. And, see, that's the other thing, too, is it was a veteran that told Colin Kaepernick that he could kneel. And then the other thing, too, is Drew Brees needs to realize this, is that, look, take it from somebody that's had a relative that fought in World War II in France and, had to go through all of that. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the GI Bill. It said that these soldiers coming back home from World War II were going to be able to, kind of be taken care of and restart their lives properly.
Yeah, that didn't always happen.
Exactly. And if I'm correct, I believe it was the black soldiers weren't given the GI Bill like the white soldiers were. Am I correct? See, so like that's my thing. See, we weren't given equal treatment. We came back home from that war.
I mean, I dislike the thought that that white people are the paragons and protectors of America. In every war that has been fought, there has always been an overwhelming percentage compared to the population of African Americans joining the military.
Exactly. And the thing that people don't know is, and Shannon Sharp was talking about it on Undisputed a few weeks ago, the African American soldiers were denied at first a chance to fight for George Washington because George Washington didn't want them. But after the British Army had started offering them, by saying, if you fight for us,
freedom.
Exactly.
Freedom.
We'll let you be free. But then George Washington was like, oh, snap. Wait, that's right. The African-American soldiers are pretty good, so we better let them in on our side too. So there's that.
Historically, it originally came out that African Americans are a very big chunk of the population. Now, granted, it's not the largest chunk, but it's still a very big chunk of the population. So offering freedom all of a sudden made it seem like, hold up. This makes sense. Now, then all of a sudden the rebel faction decided, oh, that would be a very good idea. We should do that too. And it was met with a lot of static.
Correct.
And you also have to think about that regardless of that fact, there were still a whole bunch of African Americans who were sent back to slavery despite serving.
Right.
There was a and I always use this example in my conversation and my talks. There was a spy, and you know how they always talk about the Battle of Yorktown ended the revolution, right?
Yeah.
There was an African-American spy who was a servant to Cornwallis, and it is known that he led him basically to Yorktown.
Right.
And he knew Lafayette and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, after the war ends, he goes back and is forced to become a slave.
See that?
Until Lafayette runs into him off of random chance and goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And then goes, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Sad. I don't know what to say.
I mean,
all I'm gonna say is look, Drew, if the people that are saying it's disrespectful to the flag need to go back and look at American history, and this is why.
Well, the problem is they have to do their own research to look up American history.
That's true, and this is why,
because too many people trust their textbooks. They don't really read into, like, different states and different controllers control what you learn in your primary education.
Yeah, and this is why,
so the history is very whitewashed.
Yeah.
For, I hate to get into this, but for technically propaganda means.
Yeah. And this
it's very whitewashed because American nationalism is what's argued to be as basically white nationalism.
Facts. That's facts. And this is why I always say take American history classes, and then also on top of that, do the research yourself. I always say that.
Take them in college.
Yes.
In college, there are no punches held back.
Exactly. And then you also know my job and what I do. I have, and what my job entails of is, taking care of children. They come to me sometimes asking me about American history, and I feed them the truth. You have to. Yeah. Because I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't cover up things like a textbook would, but I just get straight to the point, and I tell it like it is.
Wow, I can't believe his history degree is coming in handy.
Look, you have to. Look, hey, next thing you know, we might have to start a podcast on American history. The first one we could start with, the Atlantic slave trade. That could be our first one.
I mean, hell, if you want to be honest, the Atlantic slaves were very smart.
That's true. But
some of them even became plantation owners.
It's true.
That's playing the system.
Yep. But the other thing too is Shaq and Spike Lee also spoke to the Saints, and they told them, stick together at a time like this. Kamara, Mike Thomas, and all those guys. I didn't hear anything from Malcolm Jenkins, but most of the guys on that Saints offense are talking about, we forgive Drew Brees. We still got work to take care. We got business to take care of this season and stuff like that. So hey, look, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to follow through with it. So we're going to see what happens during the season.
I think there's going to be that slight rift. There's going to be that look in the back of their eyes.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You can't just forget about this sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's going to be the same thing with Jake Fromm when after what he said in that.
If he gets back.
If he what?
If he gets another contract.
Exactly. Because I'm going to tell you now, I hate to say it like this, but guys like Drew Brees and Jake Fromm, they're marked men. People are going to be out to get them. People saying Jake Fromm may not play. If Jake Fromm plays, he's going to see playing time in the preseason. And he's going to be, if he plays, he's going to be out there with the third or second string, which means he ain't going to have the best blocking.
Hey, all I'm going to say is some of them dudes might hit you for their ancestors.
Exactly. And I'm going to close out this NFL thing by saying, get ready to see players kneel during the national anthem this year. Get ready.
Oh, definitely. They should.
Get ready. That's all I'm going to say with that. That's all I'm going to say. But as we transition onto the National Hockey League, the league plans to return to play featuring a 24-team Stanley Cup playoff format. The most notable teams that did make the cut are the Lightning, the Flyers, the Calgary Flames, the Bruins, the Blackhawks, the Maple Leafs made it, the Blues, the Predators, the Capitals, the Oilers, and the Golden Knights.
Wait, did you just say the Lightning didn't make it into the playoff?
No, I said the most notable teams that made it in. The Lightning, they made it.
Oh, have made it in.
Yeah.
Okay, you said done, so I was like, oh, sound like you said didn't. I was like, ooh.
Oh, yeah, no. All those teams that they made it in the playoffs. I don't know.
I was about to be like another L for the Lightning, huh?
Oh, nah. I think that the Lightning have a good chance. But everybody's going to be well rested, so I think the hardest part will be getting that feel back right away.
Always, especially when you take a long extended break.
Yeah. So, and I don't know where they're going to play the games at. They might play them at their own home arenas without fans, but it's good to just have it back.
They ought to do like baseball, like Japanese baseball, I believe.
Right.
And have little plushies in the stands.
True. Wow.
Hey man, I ain't gonna cap. That was cool. I was like, you know what? That was a good idea. I ain't gonna cap. That was a good idea. Right
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Major League Baseball, I have no clue what they want to do anymore. Like, because one minute you hear, the Players Association wants to do this, and then another minute you hear the Players Association wants to do that. So I'm just like, what do y'all want to do?
I mean, because the most dangerous part is the dugout.
That's true. Yeah, you got a point.
So I don't think they figured out what they want to do to make the dugout work.
Yeah, but the other thing too is like the compensation and stuff, like the payment of the players and everything like that. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Aren't their contracts guaranteed anyway?
Yeah, but they're talking about getting to 50% of it and stuff because it's a shortened season. And then the next minute, they're fighting for the full 100, and then it to me it changes so much day to day.
Hey man, I'm just saying, if your contract is 100% guaranteed, go fight for that joint.
I feel that. In the NBA, Michael Jordan has pledged $100 million to initiatives benefiting police and justice. So I salute Michael Jordan for that. As you already know, LeBron James spoke out on the latest issues. He spoke out against the bias at Fox News, basically saying, how can the anchor on Fox News tell him and others, other African American players, to shut up and dribble, but then console Drew Brees?
Exactly.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I didn't like either. So I salute LeBron. The NBA set to return on July 31st. The regular season will extend 16 days with 5 to 6 games per day. There will be 4 hours between games on each individual court to accommodate overtimes, cleanings, and warm-ups. This is going to be like just a big giant basketball tournament. The league will use 3 courts in the complex for games at the Wild World of Sports. In the 8-game regular season format, each team is expected to play 1 back-to-back. The NBA is expected to be aggressive in moving up the dates to start playoff series when the previous round series come to an end, which means basically when you're done, you're ready to get going again. The NBA Finals format is expected to include games every other day.
Yeah, because they're trying to get it Get it in and get it out.
Yep. And plus, I believe they said, this season is going to end in August, I believe. Oh, no, not August, October, something like that. And then the next season is supposed to pick up like December 1st.
I understand because they're trying to limit the amount of people who are exposed. So if they can just get it in and get it out, they feel like that would be a better decision, and I agree with it.
Yeah, I feel that. I still feel like they could have used, outside of the wide world of sports, they could have used the UCF basketball arena, and they could have used the Amway Center.
They could have, but I don't think they wanted to pay extra money.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Especially when Disney already has most of the facilities. Yeah.
Have you ever been there before, to the wide world of sports?
I have not. I haven't been anywhere Disney in, what year is it? A decade. It's called a decade.
I'm going to tell you now, if you ever get the chance to go to the wide world of sports, it will not disappoint you. I haven't been there in like 5 years. It's a nice hookup.
Interesting. Maybe one day we'll go report on some stuff over there.
For sure.
Do a live podcast. Grab somebody and be like, "Hey, man, come talk on this podcast real quick."
Exactly. And they got a little studio set up inside one of their little restaurants too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, snap! Hey, look, you already about to send me to heaven.
See, hey, and it's inside of one of the restaurants closest to the track and stuff. It's I forget which restaurant it is, but it's like an ESPN type of setup studio. It's just really cool.
I already love the stew, audio and visual. Come on now, I'm down.
Oh, of course. Look, just let me know. I'm trying to go too. But the other thing before we bring the bug on for his trivia question is the way the NFL, or the way Roger Goodell said what he said. I wanted to hit on this earlier, but I forgot about it. I'm just now remembering it. So Roger Goodell came out and said, Patrick Mahomes. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I could find what he said exactly.
Oh, you talking about the thing where they actually took notice because Patrick Mahomes hopped on the video?
Yes. Because here it is. It's right here. NFL executives, league moved quickly once Patrick Mahomes joined the player video. An NFL executive said Roger Goodell had to act quickly to respond once he saw Patrick Mahomes in the Black Lives Matter video from NFL stars.
Because he's the new poster boy.
Yeah, but
he is the moneymaker now.
That's true.
Tom Brady, yeah, he's still in, but not everybody, but most people think he's washed now. Like he's over. Come on, he's not going to have the same impact.
The sun is setting on Tom Brady's time,
obviously,
and Patrick Mahomes' time has risen. And
exactly,
the thing I'm disappointed in, just like Spike Lee, why did you wait so long? Why did you have to wait for Mahomes? Why you should have done this without hesitation anyway.
Exactly.
That's the part I'm just disappointed in. But
I'm trying to tell you, the NFL lying, man.
But hey, look, the other thing too is I'm still waiting on the public apology to Kaepernick. That's the other thing too. And I'm still waiting to hear from Jerry Jones. Because everybody's saying, everybody's saying Jerry been quiet lately. I'm like, look, training camp gonna be here before you know it. And there's going to be reporters everywhere walking around the Cowboys facility, so he can't hide for long.
The bug is coming. The bug is coming.
It's time for trivia with the bug.
Oh, snap. I heard he got a good one.
Hello, everybody. This is the bug, and my trivia question is, can you name the first president to throw out the first ceremonial pitch?
And there it is. That's the Bugs trivia question for this episode.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know the answer. You be asking too many.
I was gonna say your boy Hendrix. He been coming through with a few answers here recently.
That's him. That's not me. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
I don't know the answer.
The one last week was what was Gale Sayers' nickname on the football field?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait. Gale Sayers?
Yeah, what was Gale Sayers' nickname on the football field?
Oh, that's easy. That's Walter Payton. Nope. Don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, man, he's going to be so disappointed in you when he finds out.
It's okay. He won't yell at me, so it's all right.
Well, wow.
If he yells at me, I might cry. Just a little bit. Teeny bit.
Well, all right, folks. That's going to do it for us. I'm JPeeps.
I'm Jay Cee. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram.
At Throw Flags.
Twitter.
At Penalty Talk.
YouTube.
Penalty Talk. Like, share, and subscribe.
Spotify.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Anchor.
Like, share, and subscribe.
You gotta tell them what. You gotta tell them what to do. It's Penalty Talk.
It's Penalty Talk on all of those. Yes, but like, share, and subscribe.
All right, y'all be easy. Y'all stay safe out here in this we're technically still in it. So in this pandemic world, don't forget to support your political views unless they're racist. And y'all enjoy your time.
Yep, y'all stay safe, stay blessed.